information about you is your personal data. Your hospital health status. There was, before even the data protection came into being, there was an employee. When an interview was done, she was employed. But before she was employed, there's kuna tabia employers wanakuanga nayo, used to have. Nowadays, I think imeishaisha. Ulikuwa unapelekwa hosi, unaambiwa uende hosi upimwe. They did a full body checkup, and you didn't pay for it, but you never received that data of what they found. Hawajui hata ujui kuna ugonjwa gani. Hiyo information ilikuwa inaenda kwa the employer. And this employer found out that the lady had AIDS, had HIV, and she was fired on the basis of her health status. She was able to sue because, first of all, you have no right to my health status. You have no right to my medical information. So she was able to sue, and she was able to win. You cannot discriminate a person based on their health status first, but you cannot demand to receive medical information about me if I'm not willing to disclose. Kama sitaki kukuambia, you have no right of demanding that information from me. So she was able to win. Those are some of the case laws that we have had. There was an issue of another school, inaitwa Olerai School. It was still under now the ODPC. A teacher alitumiwa kwa billboard. During that time, they wanted to advertise. So this teacher was fired afterwards. And then she went and sued. Because she said, yes, I was employed then, but now I'm no longer an employee of that organization. But at the time they took my photo and put that image there, I had not given my consent. But now she was told, you knew, because you were part of the process of what they were doing, so you knew what was happening. So at any stage of this process, you had a right to say no, but you didn't. So data protection is not, it will investigate. Under what circumstances did you give your data to this organization that is using your data? If you knew what was happening, you were part of the process, the likelihood of you winning the case would be nil. So I want to, okay. Oh, sorry, I thought I was using that cartoon, so so, so there are forms that we also fill. Maybe when you go to the hospital, see there is a medical form that you fill. That medical form that you fill and has that in everything about your information. If you use insurance, maybe you're given an insurance slip that you fill. If you're using maybe you as a person, there's information that will be requested in kwa computer. So there was an Aga Khan hospital. Was it no AAR Health in Roysambu recently was also sued and also fined because after that information was filled, they sent that email to the wrong insurance. So tuseme insurance yako ni Jubilee, watumie another insurance, watumie CIC. So by mistake, the administrator akatuma that information, let's say example CIC, sindio? So this lady was contacted by CIC. Who contacted na CIC, akashindwa who are these guys. They were now advertising themselves to her because they already knew her information, they knew what was wrong with her, and they said they could cover the condition she had, they could be able to cover that condition. So she was able to sue. Oh, sorry. But that is public information. So they were able to go to the ODPC website. You will find all those determinations. They are called determinations. So she was able to sue, and after she sued, she was able to win against AAR Healthcare. Although they had said it was a mistake. Si unajuanga ile unaklickingi, kama unatuma WhatsApp, you wanted to send something to someone, then you find yourself sending that something to a group. and you don't know what, you know the information you are sending to this party, but you sent to the wrong group. That is what happened. And she was able to win, although it was a mistake on part of AAR Health. AAR Health is a determination that is in public domain. So that one, is you can be able to go to the website and share. So your marital status, that is sensitive information. Your ethnicity, that is very sensitive data. Your biometrics, that is still very sensitive data. So anytime that information is used wrongly or publicly displayed, you as a person, you have a right to do what? To sue. I want us to go to the next cartoon on your rights as a data subject. You, when, let's say it's your employer or any institution that has your personal, that is collecting your data. Like let's say if you're an employer, see your employer has your HR, they have your information. So you as a data subject, you have a right to know the information they hold about you. You can request for your file and ask, what kind of information do you have about me? They have no right to deny you access. You have a right to access of that data. You also have a right to correct that information. Maybe previously you were not married, but now you're married. There are some certain benefits as an employee you enjoy, and you'd like your new family to also enjoy. So you have a right to correct any information an institution has about you. That is like updating. So you know sometimes your WhatsApp expires, na wanakwambia you need to update to the new. So you also have a right to update your personal data. So that is also your right. Oh, it's also your right. I'll tell you a story as she tries to find whatever I'm talking about. There was this client that I had that her photos, you know the way you go to a studio, unapigwa picha za kufanya nini? Zile picha za kupost either social media or sharing. It's called a photo shoot. She had gone for a photo shoot, and the kind of photos she took, si unajua kuna zile photos za public na zile private, for just your private consumption. So she took those, she went to a studio, a photo shoot, and this company, hizo photo, that company used those photos to market themselves on TikTok. So unajua TikTok haina filters. TikTok and their Instagram. So when the spouse saw those photos, akamuuliza, I thought these photos were not for advertisement purposes. And the spouse threatened that unless these things are taken down, I'm going to leave. No, this is the spouse. See, like the way I came with my husband. So he threatens that if they are not taken down, because there was a lot of quarrel around the entire photos. So it was now being consumed by everyone. And this girl tried to tell this studio, please take my photos down. And they refused. It was in this era of data protection. So she wanted to sue. We wrote a demand letter to the specific studio, and we were able to CC the Office of the Data Protection, and the photos were pulled down. You see, she had a right to tell these people, any information you hold about me, I want that information back. So she had a right for them to delete any information they had about you. So I want about her. If you think there are people with your information and you probably don't want them to hold that information, you can ask them to delete, or you can call back that information. So this era of going and posting everything or everywhere you are, make sure that you just post yourself. But if you're posting the other party, kindly ask for consent. They need to ask you. I wanted to relate this to us as believers. I'm born again, and I love Jesus as my Lord and Savior. So I wanted to ask, because Solomon said that everything that has been. There is nothing new under the sun. So I ask God, so if it's data protection, where do we find it in the Bible? You see now this era of protecting data protection. And something popped up. Unajua ile unasemanga, God told me. You see this issue about, it's just, I asked by the, or seated there, and I asked, because whatever has been, you must have spoken about this in your word. So it was, I got directly to, when God warns us about slander and gossip. So if I want to, Elizabeth is a long-time friend. Maybe she will tell me something in confidence. And then us ladies, but I see men have joined our train nowadays. She told me that in confidence. Lakini juu inaniwasha. I cannot keep silent. Unajua kuna wimbo inasema, I cannot, iyo sasa, sana shindwa. Maybe we have a common friend. Us as Christians, tunaendanga, we really need to pray for Elizabeth. To justify my actions, I try to bring religion into it. Inakuwa ni prayer item. But someone will say, there's a song, no, God looks at the heart. You remember we were being taught about that. What is the motive of my heart? If I'm taking Elizabeth as a prayer item, but my motive ni kumsengenya, si ndio? Ni kwenda kuambia huyu, ati ukweli. We'll first gossip, then we pray at the end. And God, please remember Elizabeth. So this common friend will go and tell another common friend. But you remember this was in confidence. This is what data protection requires of us. If an organization holds your data, you gave that data in confidence. I brought my children to your school in confidence. And I did not give you a right to go and display. So the best thing, if I want to discuss Elizabeth, is to ask her, whatever you have told me, can I go and tell so and so? Do we really do that? So nikasema, if I really want to gossip, I need to go and ask the person I want to gossip about if I have a right to share that information to a specific, because it has to be a specific friend. If I want to share with other friends, I still have to come and ask her. I also want to share with 1, 2, 3. So data protection is very specific. The information I'm giving you, what are you using it for? If I gave you for the purpose of admitting my child in your school, why are you using that information as your marketing tool? The purpose I trusted you with this information was for enrollment of my child in your school. Then why use it to market your school? If you want to market using the information I gave you, you come back to me and tell me I also need to use that information to do what? To advertise. I can either say yes or no. It is my right to know. So I hope from that you have understood. So you see, data protection, also biblically, it's not new. It has been. That whatever has been. There is nothing new under the sun. But us as human beings, we are just catching up with the information. It is called privacy information. So we have talked about informed. You have a right to be informed. We've spoken about your right to access the data you hold. We have spoken about a right for you to delete or erase. Erase, una imagine tu hii raba. Hii raba unatumianga kufuta, si ndio? So ukifanya mistake, you can unafuta and you write the right thing. So you have that right to erasure of your data from any institution that holds data about you. You also have a right to data portability is movement. Naweza toa ni venye ndatumia flash, nichukue hiyo information, nipeleke maybe pale. That's portability. It's portable. I have a right to that portability. And you remember there is a time, unakumbuka venye supermarket ilikuwa inatuforce kubuy, nasikia inaitwa hizi kavera zao zimeandikwa this supermarket. There was a person who took them to court that you cannot charge me. I cannot buy your product, but you're also using me to do what? To advertise your services. If you notice nowadays, they usually ask you, unataka yetu ama unataka. So yes, that is because there was a determination. Now that's not in data, but you see, because they are selling you something that you're using to advertise them with. They have no right of doing that, and they have no right of forcing you to take their branded paper. So they usually ask nowadays, do I give you ours, or do we give you a different paper? So you're the one to select what you want. You see, now that you are being asked for your permission. We can move to the next. No, we leave. We can go. So let's leave it there. Registration. If you are an institution in yourself, like me, I have a law firm. So as a law firm, because I get a lot of information from people, I have to register with the Office of the Data Protection. So any institution, if you're an employer, if you deal with people and you collect data from people, you are mandated to register with the Office of the ODPC. We can move, because now that one is mandatory. That one can be discussed under a different forum. So let's say, what do you do when your data is shared and you did not give consent? There's the ODPC, their website. If you go to their website, you can do what? You go to their website and you can report an offense. First, before you report, you need to go to this person who shared your data and tell them, either you pull it down or you ask for compensation. If now they refuse, that is when you go and report. And you report to the Office of the Data Commissioner. That would be found in their website. I would advise all of us to go to that website and get some of these things, and you can be able to know what you need to do actually. If you are an employer, you are an institution, there are some things that you need before you're fined. Because I've seen, if you look at the determinations, there are very many that have been made against hospitals, you see these apps that we borrow from right, left, and center. You borrow from this app to pay this app, you borrow from this app. They now have no right, there are so many of them that have been fined. They have no right of calling any person in your contact list. Si unajua ulikuwa unakopa, alafu wanachukua contact list yako yote, si ndio? Then wanapigia shosho yako. There are several people that committed suicide because they are so valued home. Alafu anajulikana ako Nairobi, anaishi soft life huku, si ndio? Alafu mtu ushago anapigiwa simu, anaambiwa hebu ambia nani alipei deni na bla bla bla. And they wonder, ai hapana. So gossip inaanza kuspread kwa village. Venye nani halipangi loans. Si ni ukweli? And sasa venye anapigiwa anajua, kila mtu anajua, either hata ienda ushago, hata enda kwa village, juu already image yake ime. So this act really came to help, because when those people used to take your contact list, hawajali ni nani wanapigia. They just take any name and they call. And you, the person being called, you are not part of that contract. You did not sign off as a guarantor. So you are just being used to shame the other party so that they pay. So if there is any application that is doing that to you, you now know that you have rights. And you can do what? You can report them. If these apps are still calling you and you are not a guarantor, you are not a party to that contract, you now know what you need to do. You can tell them, please stop calling me, or I will report you to the Office of the Data Commissioner. They already know. But if they don't stop, you can now report them. And they actually find. There's a person who reported them. I'll still use an example of me and Elizabeth. So I take a loan and I don't pay. They called Elizabeth and they call in a way that she can no longer use her phone. Ushaikuwa na hizi calls zenye haziishi, that this person had to switch off the phone completely. But you see, Elizabeth was not part of the contract that I took with them. So this person told them to stop calling. Walikuwa wana call, wana SMS. So every time ni SMS na calls haziishi, akazima simu. The following day kufungua wana call tena. Akawaambia acheni kunicall. But they continued calling. The person sued, was able to get his remedy, and they were also fined. So atuongei about things to come. These are things that have already happened. And I know when we are living probably in the city, there are a lot of those things that you experience. Utatoka kwa many applications, but I would advise us, if that happens, first tell them to stop. You don't report directly first, because they will ask you, did you tell them to stop? You will tell them, yes, I told them to stop, but they continued. That's why I'm reporting this to you. And then you save those messages so that they will be your evidence. You can even get money from that. Unajua wataka kucompensate. Because you can say, the entire day, I did not use my phone. I lost business worth. Alafu kama uko na M-Pesa statement ya kuonyesha, every day this is the amount I earn through my business. But this day I was unable to get because of these people. They have a right to refund you that money. So, so you as a person, you need to, what we need as individuals is to know our rights. To institution needs to know that data subjects, who is you and me, have also rights, and to start treating people as human beings. I don't think I will say much. That is what I saw we needed first to know today. You as an institution, yes? Oh, sorry, I'm reminded there is something I've forgotten. And in forgetting this, I will use a case law. How many of us know Cyprian is Nyakundi? Anaitangwa Cyprian is Nyakundi. He was sued. Alipelekwa kwa the office of the Data Protection Commissioner. Alikuwa ameandika information, akapeana the names of people and the names and they were being accused. Hello? Okay. So he was accused of publicly displaying the names of people, and they were anti-money laundering, iya kusafisha pesa. Si mnaonanga wash ya Terence. Iyo wash. It was like wash. So he wash. This was now real. It was not acting. They were washing money. Iyo ni money laundering. So, sikuosha Siyo kuosha, inaitangwa kupatiana hizi pesa fake, si ndio? Ama hiyo kusafisha pesa, umepata pesa, it's been taken from illegal activities, but if I want to make it legal, nakuja nanunua nyumba kama hii, alafu naeka tenants. Nikieka tenants, ile pesa tenants wananipatia, that's clean money. But the money I have used to raise this building, imetumika kutoka kwa drugs, kwa nini, but you see now I am using washed money and laundered money to gain from these tenants, to gain legal money. Hiyo ndio inaitangwa kuosha pesa. A process of cleaning it ndio ikuwe safi, acceptable, ama now taxable. So Cyprian realized there was a deal that was going on. Cyprian Nyakundi is a public blogger, so that one we can share his name. So he was able to, alishtakiwa, him he never even responded. But when the Office of the Data Protection ili analyze, there are some exemptions to sharing of your data. Exemption moja iliambiwa ni journalism, hiyo ingine ni literary work, and that's where our church now falls in. Literary works involves lectures. You see, like now you can say, I'm either, because I'm not preaching, I might be now training you about something. It's a lecture room or it's a sermon that I am giving. So churches, now during this live, yeah, exactly, thank you. The live streaming, the church cannot be sued because this is part of what is exempted from processing. Because this data is being processed as a literally work. But kuna church wanachukua photos. Unaona hizo photos wanachukua, then wanaenda wanazipost wapi? Inapostiwa kwa youth group, ama huyo mtu mwingine anachukua. That one you shouldn't do. You see now the live streaming is okay. But now when another party takes this and does it in their, not the live stream, the photos that we take to show the way the sermon was hot today and the way, alafu maybe kuna mtu kwa congregation alikuwa amekuja kujificha. Alafu mumeka photo yake kabisa, and maybe you see there are some people, health issues, mental health issues are real nowadays, and sometimes you just need a place to hide and be alone. And you can be alone in a church like this. There are people, but you have that peace of mind. Alafu pate umedisplay wa kila mahali na youth group sijui na nini, and maybe the person who was looking for you akajua, kumbe hapa ndio anajifichanga. So hizo photos, please don't go, because many people take photos and continue sharing. Let's avoid photos even as a you can ask, like now I can tell you, by the way, sorry, I don't know any other person. I'll still now maybe use Elizabeth. So I will ask Elizabeth if I'm the photographer. We will give, although the office said general disclaimer is not, but I will tell Elizabeth, there are photos we took of you. Are you comfortable with us sharing this photo in our social media sites? Or I can tell the church, we are taking photos, and we can, there are photos we will take. If you're not comfortable of us sharing, tell us not to take your photo. At least you've been informed. So see ile ya surprise, unaenda unapata photos zako ziko kila mahali. And that as a church you need to be very careful. And I know it's coming a time. Probably it hasn't come. And as a church we pray. We are a religious organization. And sometimes there are testimonies that are given. Especially when a person is sharing their testimonies. If they are not comfortable on it going live stream, musile, if we are doing deliverance, yes, and you know deliverance sometimes can become, let us not share some of these things live stream. Although it is for literally works, it is okay. It was purposes of a sermon. You remember our famous singer, I will not name her, but you remember that deliverance that was all over. Bloggers took it up, they shared it. As a person who is respected in the society, and some of these things are just spread everywhere. And you know the society is not kind. Si ni ukweli? So we can do that, but when it comes to some of those things that are very sensitive, live streaming can stop, you continue, because the motive of the heart is not to market the church, it is to deliver this person. It is not to just attract crowds, but for the sake of this one soul. Unajua kuna watu wakijiona kwa TV hizo vitu ata backslide ama ataacha kukuja church. Juu atajua you guys are not sensitive. Let us protect the body of Christ. And thank you very much, and may God bless you, and may God increase you. Thank you very much, Reverend.
Thank you very much. Maybe before you leave, there are some questions. Maybe you have a question you just want to ask. Yes.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe. I have one question, but before I say my question, I would like to put a disclaimer. She talked about telling the apps that please don't call me. Kindly pay the loan, then tell them not to call you again. Sawa, pay the loan, then ask them not to call you again. Hajatupatia ruhusa ya kuwaambia usitupigie. Now my question is this: we go to buildings, maybe you're visiting a certain office, unafika hapo reception, the security guard anakuambia niandikishie kwa hii kitabu. And when you look at that book, it has so many sensitive things. Jina yako, ID number, time, contact, alafu una sign. Then anakuambia niachie ID hapo. So maybe you give the ID or the job card, kama umetembea nayo, you go in. What do you think about that information that we leave there? Is it okay if I tell him I'll not be able to give you all these details?
There are some of those cases that are coming up, and when you are giving your information, your only way to the office that you want to go to is through that information. So first you have a right to ask, the information I'm giving, what purpose are you going to use it for? What's the purpose? There's something we never shared about data principles, but that one is a bit broad. You need to ask the purpose of the information they are collecting. If you're not comfortable of even giving that information, they also have a right, so you are the one to decide, for you not to access the building. You have been given, you've been given permission to say that I don't want this information, but they have also been given a right of saying, without this information, we cannot allow you into the building. I'll still use an example of a school. If you're enrolling your child to a school, see the information they require from you, like the name of the child. If you say that I am not comfortable in sharing the name of my child, then will they be able to enroll your child in that school? Because they need this information for this child to be in school. They will need the birth certificate information because of the NEMIS number the government will give the child. You see, there are also some information they will be denied if they are not able to take the information they need to collect. But they need to explain to you, how are they going to use this data? And how do you ensure, unajua kuna watu wengine wanakujanga, wanachukua tu picha, hiyo kitabu, wanapiga picha, then wanaanza kukutumia messages. So they need to assure you that this information is protected. No one can take photos, it is protected, it is safe the way it is. But they have a right to give you access the way you have a right to give them information or deny them information, they also have a right to deny you entrance. So they give you a choice. We take the information, you go, you gain access, or you deny us the information, we deny you access.
Thank you. Any other person who has a question? Maybe I also have one. At times we go to ceremonies, maybe the weddings, places here and there, and these paparazzi people wanakuchukua tu picha anyhow, and then they display them all over. And at the end of the day, you don't even at times pay. You leave them. You don't even know where they take them to.
First of all, they have no right of taking your image without your consent. So the first place, by the taking a photo of you, you already now have a right to tell them to stop or give you that photo. Either you sue them or you take. Unajua sana, people will take advantage. Yeah, ni nani alikwambia unipige picha nipatie, because you have no right of going with my personal data, and my image is my data. These are some of the things, and I know that will catch up with people even as this act matures. But you have a right to take that image. Most of them go and shred those photos. But if you find, have you ever gone to town? There are people I had complaining, kitambo, unaenda nini town, kwa studio, unaona, no, the way those studios market themselves, image yako ya graduation ndio iko hapo. Unashindwa siu ni mimi. Hao watu walipataje? But they are using your image to advertise the quality of their photos. So So you have a right to get into that studio and get that image, because they have no right of holding that image without your consent.
A person that has a question. Kuna mtu, yes, at the back.
Oh, thank you for the presentation. I'm in marketing, so my question will go on the digital part. I think most of us are using Facebook for free. It's a free app where you sign up with your number, email, and Meta is now all inclusive. You'll go to Instagram, they will connect you to Event Sender and everything. And when I'm going to advertise, I have an upper hand because it's Meta that is directly giving me your contacts to advertise to you. I don't know where the line is between us using the platforms we are using, for example, Meta, Facebook, pushing the ads, Google ads, because you're using their platform and you didn't read their terms and conditions, because by signing up to Facebook, they can use your contacts to advertise. And when I advertise, they give me the contacts. Where has the law reached to digital?
First of all, you as a marketer, you have no right of getting, you see the numbers you're getting from Meta. This is not Meta's information. So they will advertise to you as a person, but did you tell you're going to market as a, let's say, I'll use the name of my law firm, NKM Advocates. So NKM Advocates gets information from Meta, and these are personal numbers. You saw in our cartoon, phone is part of personal data. But as NKM Advocates, I do not know these individuals. But through Meta, kuna venye wamefilter this information to see that whatever you market is what probably I mostly look for kwa hizi sites. But you need to contact me as NKM Advocates. NKM Advocates needs to talk to you and tell you we are advertising. No, they cannot even call you. We have no right of even calling you. Because the first thing, if you call me, and NKM, if it's an NKM calling me, I will ask them, where did you get my number? And why are you calling me? So, for marketing, there are also data protection rules for marketing. You have no right, easy messages mnatuma mingi, you need to put an opt-out mechanism that I no longer wish to get your emails. When I'm going to a supermarket, I pay via PayBill, but wanatumia information ku market. They are already in, what do we call it, this word, imetoroka. But they are not supposed to use that information to market their services, because the purpose I used that number to pay was for buying. If they needed to use that number for other purposes, wangeniambia hata tutatumia hii number kuadvertise. But sasa shida inakuanga hapa kwa terms and conditions. Terms and conditions, it's a fine print that most of us hardly read. So unaweza uliza mtu umepata wapi namba yangu, atakwambia kwani kwa ile terms and condition haukusoma. So mimi nilipatia Meta ability to advertise, but it's to advertise wenyewe, si kuni advertise kwa watu wengine. If you look at Meta currently, it has been sued by so many states in billions because of that. It is paying a hefty sum to every European. If you go to US, if you go to Australia, those people are being sued right, left, and center because of data privacy. And data privacy is very key, especially in European countries. Data is well protected. Wengine walikuwa sued, I think it's Instagram, one of those social sites. They had allowed a teenager to market their business. Na hiyo information ikaleak. But when it was investigated, this information is of a 13-year-old. This 13-year-old owns a business, and they are using their social media platforms to do what? To advertise. But they were sued. I can't remember the social media sites, because I think it was either 13 or 17. Because minors' information, hiyo ndio inaletanga the most hefty fines. If it's an adult, fines hazikuangi as much. But when it comes to minors, a minor is between, in Kenya, 0 and 18 years. Minors, and that's why Roma School was fined so hard, because of it was a minor's information. So let's be very careful. You need to, you can't even contact, I don't know what to tell you, because you will say, how will you, I have had, hizi car, kuna bazaars mingi zinauzanga magari, si ndio? Unapata unatumiwa na sijui credit, unatumiwa so many messages. So one of them kept calling, and I told them, by the way, how did you access and where did you get my information from? Hizi vitu, where did you, wakakata simu, and I've never heard from them again. You know, I will ask you, how did you get my number? I didn't give you, who gave you my number? I can compel you to reveal the institution that gave me the number, and you who gave you a right to advertise to me. I didn't want your advertisements. So it basically comes back to consent. If you're marketing to me, did I give you permission to do that?
Okay. Mine in a touch on everybody here, most of the people here. Nowadays, ukienda kwa shop, buy something. The shopkeeper will tell you, ukilipa na M-Pesa, anakuambia, I don't know whether you paid, let me see your SMS. Aone your SMS ya M-Pesa. Now, your SMS ya M-Pesa iko na a lot of information, including my balance. Labda niko na 5 bob, sitaki aone niko na 5 bob balance. Ama niko na millions, hallelujah. Yeah. Is that acceptable?
Unajua, siku hizi tumezoea, even if you have big amounts, kama uko kwa mat, na uko na maybe 500 na 1000, na place unaenda 20 bob. So na kwa M-Pesa una pesa. See, most of us, I don't know about most of us, unafuliza unalipa 20 bob, ndio usevi kushindanga kuambia nani nisaidie na change. So fuliza becomes easier. So I know. So when they ask for that message, si unajua wataona kwanza ile inaingianga kwanza, I think ni ya fuliza, then ya nini. So anataka simu. But you also have a right, before umpatie hiyo information, there is a way you delete. Alafu hadi hapa kwa balance, there is a way you delete, you edit that message na unamuonyesha. So ni unatumia tu ujanja, unafuta the information you don't want, then you show just the information they need to see. That is called data minimization. No, not data minimization, I think it's data minimization. You collect only the data that you need. You don't give, unajua, as ladies we have a way of oversharing. You do not overshare. You just need, I know some men just say yes, no, hapana, si kufanya. Unajua, that's just the information the party that is asking needs to hear. But I know ladies tunakuanga na, alafu, na utaki filters, unataka the full composition. So, you just filter the information they need. Thank you again.
I have one concern now. In the event you are arrested and taken to a police cell, before the court declares that you are guilty, do the police have the right to take your biometric data, that is the fingerprints?
That one they have a right to do. Legal processes are exempt from data protection. From the point you are arrested, lazima ubukiwe, fingerprints zichukuliwe, OB number iandikwe. That's a legal process. That one is exempt. They have that right.
Ya mwisho, is it okay if someone calls me aniambie, Liz, sasa poa, nisaidie namba ya Brayo. Sawa nakutumia na nimtumie without asking Brian.
No, you have no right to share. So lazima upigie Brian umuulize, kuna mtu fulani Agnes anataka namba yako, naweza mpatia. So akiitikia, that's when you share. But if they don't, you don't share. By the way, you now that is you see, now the law does not distinguish. Exemptions come just because this is a law enforcer and this is a, like sasa situmeambua, there was huduma number, you remember? And we gave a lot of information. There is your ID, you give a lot of information and you share. Kuna time watu census ikikuja, unaulizangwa mko na watoto wangapi, mko na nini. Those are government processes. Those ones you must share. But when it comes, irrespective of your position, you are not supposed to demand information of another person if they have not given their authority. Yeah. Hata venye maybe munaendanga, kuna time watu tunaendanga maybe counseling, and it's just me and the pastor, and I'm giving information about someone else, and the pastor will request, can you give me the number of this person tuongee naye? Na maybe huko unataka huyu mtu ajue mlikuwa mnamdiscuss. So we have a way of sharing this information, ndio at least pasi atumie njia zingine kumfanya nini? Kumfikia. Mnaweza eka pastor kwa shida. You at a demand, and you know, some people really want, where did you get my number from? Why did you call me? What right do you have?
I have one concern as well, not concerning what you're saying. In this era where we have so many cyber attacks, there are some information. See, nowadays you're not writing the information on the books that you've started. An SMS is sent to your phone when you visit a bank or in so many organizations. So many information is your information is passed. In fact, even the banks themselves, they are vulnerable to cyber attacks. Now, and as well as where we employ it, your fingerprints, your biometric data is captured in the system. In case you're fired, that data that the company owns. Now, how secure are we as citizens with the information that we leave to where we were working, or the information you leave to an organization you visit, that information will not be used to manipulate you?
Oh, by breach. So when breach occurs, breach can occur. Let's say it's a bank, and that data leaks. The first thing the bank needs to do within the first 72 hours, yes, is to report there is a breach, and this information has been shared. They need to contact you as a data subject and tell you, we have had a breach. and this is what has happened. Your data has been shared. And what are they doing to ensure that that breach does not affect you or is remedied? How are they remedying that breach? So in case now this information is being used to inaitwaje, blackmail or sijui what, you go to the person who enabled that breach. Because as an organization, when you're registering as a data controller or a processor, you are usually asked in your registration form, what measures have you put in? This data is at risk. What measures have you put in place? In case of breach, you need to have policies in place, the data protection policy. There are so many policies that you require to remedy whatever happened. Risks is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it will occur. So if your information has leaked, but you are not the holder of it, it leaked under another institution's name, it is under them. They are the ones to ensure that your data, although breach, does not affect you directly. If it does, they are the ones to pay. But they also need to report within the first 72 hours. They also need to notify you. You can sue them if it breached and they never told you or informed you that there has been a breach. So you have also a remedy of suing. But if that is in case they never shared with you, they might share with the data protection commissioner, but they never told you. Then unapata these strange calls. Then unauliza, you're the ones that I gave my data. Kwa nini na blackmailiwa na inatumiwa? So ndio maybe wataanza kuambia, oh, kulifanyika. But you see, they were obligated to tell you first, but they didn't.
Hi, praise God. My question is, right now, let me use Pastor Iganzo. Nikuje in confidentiality. Nikuje niambie Pastor Iganzo what I'm going through. Na alafu after maybe 2 to 3 weeks, nipate summon yake indirectly ni about me. Am I allowed to sue him as a pastor? And maybe the second one, the second one is about maybe the government. If the system of government ikwe hacked, like the e-citizen, ikwe hacked, na maybe within the 72 hours or kufanya anything, am I allowed to sue them?
No, so, no, for government, and you know, especially our government, I think they report, you remember there were rumors, because we tried to access the e-citizen platform. It was actually not good. There were so many issues with them, but they reported. And for them being very public and being a government institution, for them, I know they reported to the ODPC, the first one. But you cannot, if they report, I have not seen, I'm trying to think of words to say it. There are people who sue the government. You have a right to sue the government, but you need to have evidence. See, I told you first, you need to tell them 1, 2, 3. You need to show the steps you took, and they did not remedy the situation. For now, e-citizen, it was hacked. It was reported, I think, after, no, they didn't take 3 days. They reported within the 3 days to the public. They said someone tried to gain access. So it means it did not breach. But someone had tried to breach. We believe what we are told. So they reported to the public. Someone tried, but they didn't gain access. But I am sure the office of the ODPC, being a government institution, was also aware of that. But if you're reporting something, you need to show there is some steps you took. You told this person this was leaked. This is how this information is affecting me, the information that was leaked, and I did not give my consent. And they did not remedy that situation, or they refused. Oh, it was a therapy session or a counseling session, and we shared with the pastor about what you're going through. Then kwa salon, unasikia your information. Kwa service, Kwa sermon. Kwa sermon venye nasema kama mimi I had a client. But the onus is on you to prove I was talking about. But alisema jina ya huyo mtu. Hakusema jina, si ndio? So unajuaje ni wewe? Ulimwambia, but correct me if I'm wrong, Pastor, but I know as human beings, our problems are very similar. By the way, our problems, I have been a youth leader somewhere, and our problems, you think that you're going through something alone. But if maybe the pastor was to open up about the many people that are facing similar issues, there are so many. But the issue would be if they mention that name. See, hata niwaambia I had a client mwenye picha zake zilikuwa shared. Hata kama my client ako kwa hii congregation, atajuaje ni yeye? Atajuaje that's the only case nimepata? Si unaona iko huku kwa hewa. And law is we need evidence. If you do not have hard facts, unajua there are some things you know and you know, that is me, but you have no evidence. Si ni ukweli? Ama there are some things you hear and you know, this is the person, na ni aliiba, na ni alifanya hivi, lakini hauna evidence. So, the onus is on you to prove that the pastor is talking about you. So, tutasema, you either hold your peace, ama you forever, ile marriage inaambuango aje. Because if you go to the office of the ODPC, utaulizwa, ulijuaje alikuwa anaongea juu yako? Ama alisema jina. Hiyo sermon itakuwa played again. Si mnafanyanga live streaming, itarudiwa. The office itasikiza hiyo sermon tena. Inajaribu kutafuta kwenye wewe umefanya nini? Exactly. And then hakutaja jina yako hapa, si ndio? Yes.
Okay, I have one question. Let's say I changed my name following all the due process. Nimeenda nimepata deed poll, imekuwa gazetted. And then maybe I had an account with a bank, and that was before I changed my name. I update my name with them. I give them all the details, the gazette notice and the deed poll, and still they don't amend that. What am I supposed to do?
So let me understand. They are still holding the information you had formerly before your name was?
Yes.
Let's say my name is Agnes. I change it to Purity.
Yes.
So I go to my bank and I tell them I'm no longer Agnes, my name is Purity. And
yes.
I give them all the evidence they need to change that.
Yes.
And they don't change.
Okay, they will tell that they will tell you they have changed. But in any maybe form of the communication they are making to you, they are addressing you as Agnes now.
Or they're still addressing me as Agnes,
yes,
and not as Purity.
Yes.
Or kama wanakutumia SMS inasema Dear Agnes instead of Dear Purity. So what right do you have as Purity now, not as Agnes?
Yes.
How did you inform them that you had? Did you write a letter? You took all that. You wrote a letter. You put the gazette. You took the gazette notices.
Yes.
So that one now you can report, but you will be asked something. I know there's some things that kuna kitu kwa law tunasemanga. You look at the case that are brought kwako, then unaangalia which one can we easily do away with. Inaitangwa haraka wataangalia. So me as a bank, no, I'm saying me as Agnes, not as the act, I will ask you, assuming I'm the ODPC, is that bank the only bank we can go to? Is there a way you can close your account and open a new bank account with your name as Purity? You see, there are remedies that are all over us that we can rescue from so many complaints. But there are people who still like to pursue and ensure, because this is my bank, I don't want to change it. You can either close that account and open a new account as in the same bank. That is a situation that will save you a lot of headache and legal fees. But either you can still pursue. Unajua kuna watu wengine wanasemanga money is not a problem. You can take it away. But you have a right to know, tujua hizi processes zote, to just simplify the process. And now I say my final thank you, and God bless you. Sorry, my name is Agnes Nyawera Mbogwa, and I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I practice in Kiserian, family law, sana sana ni family law and conveyancing. So, Elizabeth has my contact. If you need any advice, generally regarding law, I'm also a corporate lawyer. I'm mostly a corporate lawyer. I've practiced in financial institutions for the longest. And if you need my contact, they will be shared by Elizabeth. May God bless you, and see you next time. I'll not say this is my last time here. Will you invite me again to speak about something different?
Thank you so much, Agnes. Let's appreciate her. Mungu akubariki sana. That is great information you've given unto us. Sini kweli? Yeah, no wonder at least tulibakia nyuma tuweze kusikia hii mambo. I almost wanted to ask you another question. Now, like the one that was suing the preacher after tarnishing the preacher's name, can I also, accuse him? Kwa sababu ameharibia preacher jina. Kwa sababu hakuwa na evidence. All right. Asante. Dennis, unasikia? Now, let's be on our feet. Thank you very much. May the Lord bless you for being very patient. Mungu akubariki, but I am sure hatujatoka bure. Si ni kweli? Si tumepata information. So nikikuta umeweka sijui picha ya nani bila idhini, of course, na ukikuta nimeweka yako pia bila idhini, of course, tumeambiwa what to do. Thank you for being patient, and we thank God for you, Agnes, together with your husband. May the Lord bless you very much. And of course, let's also appreciate our own Elizabeth Liz, who kidogo, Agnes amekuja kwa kata si ya Liz. We didn't know her. Of course, she's the one who has connected us to Agnes. So let's celebrate our own Liz. Thank you, Asante Sana, for bringing us very good friends that are have a lot of very important information to all of us. And we hope, as you said, it's not your last time to come, bado tutakuinvite, because we really want to be updated on what our constitution is, demanding of us. And of course, as a spiritual entity, lazima tukue very careful. Therefore, we will call you once again. Nataka uliza Pastor Waiganjo wakuja to bless as we